You could call me a menace if I did it, just know I meant it. Troublesome, I'm not the one you would wanna be disrespecting. It's that boom boom.
What's going on? My name is Dante Jaquel. This is the In-House and Company podcast, episode number 2 with the Kid Pay and my man A Rule. And this interview is about the team, right? So I want to start by talking to the 3 members, obviously including myself, the Kid Pay, A Rule, about our humble beginnings here at In-House and Company and in the audio world. So let's start with A Rule. Andy, from what I know, just working with you in the past, you started in the hardcore scene.
Right.
When would you say was the first time you started playing in bands or really like playing in the hardcore genre?
Oh, in high school.
Okay. So you want to kind of like expound on that? Were you like, did you start the band or did you get recruited into the band?
No, I was one of the ones who started the band.
Okay.
And, you know, I had a bunch of friends that clearly wanted to be in the band, and it was a really cool thing to do. And we actually ended up in high school playing a lot of shows in like different pool halls and doing different, like, the pits were big, you know, and there was different venues that actually, because at that time, from 2008 to 2009, there was this really huge scene of people just going hard in the pit and just messing each other up. And it, at that moment, that was the trend, and it was really fun to do. But I also, before that, I also had training in like classical music too, as well.
Okay. And that's funny. I was going to ask you that. What made you gravitate to like hardcore medical music versus like classical music or even like pop music?
Probably the expression of just letting your anger out.
I get that.
I would say that would be good. And also because, I mean, I was a teenager, so you're going to rebel. I mean, I still love the music today, too. Like, I didn't lose my roots. And I actually implement that in all the things I do, too. Even all the chord progressions and all the melodies I do actually stem from that.
I respect that. So same question to Payam. I know that you started in a band in high school too called Men in Brown. I'm curious to what sparked that? Like where did your love for music come from? Did it start in high school? Did it start in middle school? Like
it started with way back like before 6th grade, like let's say like 5th or 4th grade. And it was a friend that just got gifted a guitar.
Okay.
And he was shredding. And he was like one of my best friends, Mike Todd. Shout out to Mike Todd.
Shout out Mike Todd.
I really don't see him no more, but everyone goes their own path in life. But yeah, I mean, he was like gifted a guitar and he was shredding. At that moment in time, we were all like however years old, like 12, 13.
Okay.
But yeah, more or less, that ignited the spark for just music, just to be interested in whatnot. So then like coming, like my parents divorced and then I had to move, and then when I moved to Belmar I met Andy, and then when I met Andy he was like already on just like anything digital. Like it was like we were creating Jackass videos to creating random ass songs on Mixcraft.
And that was actually before the band, like the metalcore phase.
Okay.
So that was before that. So he's actually
wait.
before.
I'm sorry not to cut you off. So I've been working with you guys for quite some time. So this whole time, no bullshit, y'all worked on music way before like the Stay Gold era, like together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me and Andy did.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we were literally, like I said, we were making Jackass videos. It was just like me, Andy, like Doug Little, I remember Eric Zimmerman and like Alex Lutz, and we were just like jumping. We were in the backyard of Andy's house, like where he grew up, and we were just like jumping off his shed, the roof of his shed.
I even made lightsaber
kicking each
videos.
other.
I learned how to make the lightsabers too.
We would literally spray ourselves with Axe spray like on our sock and like light our
Light
the sock on fire.
So
we were doing like nutty shit like that, but we were hanging out all the time, and eventually it like elevated to just like a music production type of hangout, more or less.
So now I'm going to interview you because
Cool.
here's the thing.
In the hot seat now.
The biggest thing that kicked the whole thing off was the Battle of the Bands when
It
we were in
was,
high
yeah.
school.
Oh, shit.
Because
we
guess
were
what?
all
Guess
three
who would
against each other.
all three of us were against each other. And guess who was going to win? Me. But we got disqualified because we went over the time limit, and you guys won. You did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So and you went against us too. So all three of us were competing against each other in a music battle.
Yeah, we got somebody else in the room in here too. That was a part of that.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my man Killadell, who's off camera right now. Shout out to Killadell, my boy M. Steen, the original crew, the trio. That was my first. Shout out to the first rap group, man. It's like I said, this is going to be all about humble beginnings in the short time that we have with y'all. But no, you make a great point. It's funny how we're all working together, but we started off like competing against each other. And it's funny, like full circle moment, like we're creating content right now in real time. You guys started creating content together when you guys were like 10 and 11 type shit. So I think that's kind of insane to have it once again full circle movement. I guess my next question in regards to talking about things that are relevant now in what we do, what keeps you guys going in this industry and where you are in this industry? I guess that's going to be to Andy first. Like, what is your motivation and drive now as a mixing and mastering engineer and producer and songwriter at times?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm kind of just very stubborn and persistent with it.
I respect
I'm
that.
just honest. That's what it is.
Where do you think the stubbornness and persistency comes from, if that's a word?
Not like I don't know how would I phrase this. Besides being cheesy and saying it's my passion, I would rather do this than do anything else, and I'm gonna keep doing it. That's it.
I like that.
Period.
I get that. And yeah, same question to you, Pei. Like, what is your motivation? What's the driving force of why you continue doing music today in this day and age? Obviously, we talk about like there's a lot of folks doing it. We go on TikTok, we go on social media, and we see a lot of independent artists, producers, engineers doing the same thing that we do. What do you think keeps you, like I said, going at the end of the day and makes you want to strive for better in this industry?
I don't know. It's just like a hobby for me. It's a passion that's always been there. And like some people play video games. I'm always playing Pro Tools.
I respect that.
It's just something that's always attracted me. I don't know. There's no like one right reason, but like just creating something out of scratch, and yeah, you'll get like 20 duds, but then you'll have that one that's like, oh yeah, this is it type of moment.
Right.
And then like those duds, like it's funny because today happened, but like those duds that you think are duds, even though you've fully finished them out, are like winners for other people, for other like individuals that
Put that hook down. That
yeah.
Facts.
So like it really comes down to just having a passion for it and just being making it makes me happy, at the end of the day. It excites me. It gets you going. It raises your vibrations. It takes you to more or less for a lot of people it helps you escape, but like that's not what I want. Ultimately, I don't want it to be an escape. I want it to be a reality, more or less. I want it to be my reality as far as just doing this every day.
So you want to kind of do the opposite. Like you want to ground it more. Like instead of going up and going away, you want to make it more solid in a metaphorical sense.
Yeah, in this reality, yeah, that would be great. Versus what I'm doing, day to day now. Not that this isn't what I'm doing day to day, but there's other obligations that we have as individuals. So
the question I have for the group is, how do we create balance in our dynamic as a production team, right? Because we have our day-to-day lives, we have so much that we juggle Monday through Friday, and even on the weekends, how do we create a healthy like work-life balance in what we do, in your best opinion?
How do we do it?
Yeah.
I think we just got to slowly figure it out and just figure out what doesn't work and what does work. And it's kind of that simple because me and you, there's so many times where we're the opposites,
For sure.
complete
For
opposites.
sure.
And then you're busy with a lot of stuff in your life, and I'm busy with a lot of stuff in my life.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, we end up figuring out how to figure it out, even if we yell at each other and insult each other like usual. That's a given. That's normal. That's just normal, healthy stuff. And now with this dynamic of Pam being in here, being a third party, well, not third, well, you're fully in it, but just like a different perspective. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like
if I'm gonna
a different perspective where like he can disagree with both of us, and then we're both like,
you know what? Nah, I'm gonna
no. We're both
See?
like, oh shit,
See?
now we're
it's
both
gonna happen.
fucking
It's
up.
gonna happen in real time right now. You know what I like, and
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest because Pam is the buffer. I've respected that Pam is the buffer in between us because we're both, and I like that because we need someone like that in our team and in our dynamic because we can't just be going at each other all the fucking time because we're not going to get shit done.
No,
So,
but we
like,
still do. But
we do.
It's a hell of a lot more productive.
Exactly, when we have somebody that can get us on the same page, and I think that's like just to look back on us and the work we've done recently. I think that's where we win and find success is when we can like slow down and be like, all right, what the hell are we doing? Are we all moving at the same pace?
But at the same time, when you think of one person doing something, it can fail so quickly depending on that person's life or their mood or whatever. You had
That's
two
the part,
people,
man.
yeah, and you have two people, it could, at some point, we're human. You're going to completely disagree. When you have three people, there's at least a triangular dynamic that just
Absolutely.
keeps it moving. Like,
It's powerful.
Maybe it's the Trinity.
yeah, right, man. If
Powerful.
if one shits out, then
And we all went to Triton.
Yeah.
the
Which
tri-
is kind of
the Trinity Triton,
the triangle has been
the
very
Triton Trinity.
yeah. But there's like I really do believe there's a power in the number of three, right? Without getting too deep in like
There's a
numerology,
spiritual, like level to it. and
Yeah.
it just makes sense.
yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that's why
Geometrically,
like
spiritual.
our formula works well when it comes to like creating music, when it comes to working with different artists. And I guess that would probably bring us to one of our last questions, right? Where do you see us in the next, let's say, I hate the 5 year shit. So where do you see us in the next 2 years from a working with artist standpoint or working with different companies or collaborations from your best perspective or your hindsight in the future?
Tons of placements, tons of clients, tons of networking, even doing work with major labels, getting arguments, getting a lawyer because we have to fight UMG.
I like everything but the last one. I do not want to go
Yeah,
against
no,
UMG, but everything else
no.
sounded cool.
But yeah, that
Maybe.
should have been a no-brainer for any of us.
Maybe
that,
I just like
that
causing
question
chaos.
actually should have been an easy question because those first.
You
few
thought
were-
about it. I didn't.
I
Yeah,
and I
you got a
respect
good point.
and I like
Mad
both
respect.
and I like both perspectives,
No, I
right?
understand that point of view.
Because I think once again, going back to what I think makes us work, we have one person that's ready to pull the trigger and one person that like will think about pulling the
Think
trigger.
about it.
like
We'll put the finger there, but we
Yeah.
won't pull it yet.
yeah, exactly. And it's like you need both, man. I as a creative, like I like this team, right? Working amongst different teams and still to this day. Nah, I feel you, bro. Some days I don't. Like, some days I don't. We're gonna be fucking real on this podcast. Like, but it's like you guys are family at the end of the day, man. Like I wouldn't want it any other way. Even coming back here to do this in person for episode number 2, it's something meaningful to me because every day when I'm working with clients in LA, I get to say yeah, I'm working with my best friends while working with clients in the place that I've always wanted to be at, working in music, right? So I
Don't
see it
get
as a blessing.
sentimental on me.
I'm not trying to get sentimental. This is what this shit's about, right? I guess here, let's switch it up. You guys ask me any fucking question you want to ask, and then we can wrap up.
I think I had some questions.
Go ahead.
Up.
Oh, he's got a whole
Rapid
list.
fire.
I don't think that far ahead.
Rapid fire in this bitch.
All right. So we probably all know the question to this.
Go ahead.
The answer to this.
Go ahead.
But first things first, who's unofficial parent of the studio fam and why?
Who's the unofficial parent of the studio family?
No, I'm sorry. Official parent
That
of the studio.
of the studio?
Of the studio or the
in-house
or
company
the whole
production?
company?
In general,
No, that's a different thing.
I would.
Let's
if
go
you're saying the
in-house
studio,
in general, because we all know the answer to this.
It would be me.
yeah, it's gonna be him.
And I only take that parental role because because somebody needs to at the end of the day. Like, somebody needs to keep us in line, and I'm cool with being the bad guy if that means we're going to get to the next win. You know what I mean? And I got that from coaches, right? I got that from playing sports, and I think that's something I implement in our structure every day. So at the end of the day, fuck yeah, I'm the parent. Next question. What you got, Andy?
Yes, you are.
What you got?
No, he's got him.
Okay, cool.
I got another one. All right, let's
ahead.
go with another one. So a little sentimental. This
Go
one.
ahead, do it.
So after all these years that we've been doing this, right?
Mhm.
It's been since we were, in high school,
Right.
2010, let's say, since we graduated high school, because that's where we all linked up
True.
officially.
True.
After all these moments we've had,
Okay.
right? What do you hope you remember the most?
That's a great fucking question. Without getting sentimental, I want to remember this point of it all, right? When we get to the point that Andy said earlier of where we're going to be in a year, I say a year, not even 2 years, in a year, I want us to remember this day, this moment, these conversations, because we're going to look, yeah, exactly. We're going to look back and be like, damn, like, yeah.
So I agree with you fully right there, but also at the same time, I love the competition of going against you. That no, in a competitive way, because it's like he's doing what I want to do, and then vice versa, and we're like, let's see who can do it better, which actually drove us to this point. So it's kind of right now too, like you said, but also back then, that kind of.
And I think that's where, going back to what you said, being the bad guy as the parent, I'm cool with that. I like being that. I think I've always taken that role without making it about me, but I like being like the example of either the motivator to, like, I want to whoop his ass, or I want to be like him or in his position, because especially when it comes from my friends and family, because I always strive for the people around me to fucking be better, either better than me or be at the same level, especially with y'all too. You guys are on my team, so I want y'all to fucking go further than me, because I know I'm going to be right behind you taking that next fucking step. So as soon as you guys take a step above me, that just motivates me to take 2 more fucking steps.
Right, that's that kind of competitive nature.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's going to drive us to success. And as long as I feel like, as long as we stay grounded and understand that, I think that's our formula. But
no, it definitely is. Still gonna argue with it.
This was dope. I appreciate y'all. Thank you guys for rocking with me. We're gonna have part 2 in New York, where we're gonna have some street questions.
Part 2 New York
and shit. So
we're gonna have
stay
street
tuned.
questions.
Stay tuned for.
Dante already got it planned out.
Stay tuned. Part 2 in New York. Let's get it. In-House and Company episode 2. The Kid K, Dr. Jakowski.
You could call me a menace if I did it, just know I meant it. Troublesome, I'm not the one you would wanna be disrespecting. Is that